Good morning and welcome to Wake Up Legendary. I am your host today. Super excited. My name is Joanne. I am the director of marketing here with Legendary Marketer, and I am pumped for today's guest. I got to talk to her a little bit backstage, and this is going to be a doozy. I already know it. This is going to be dropping not gold nuggets. We're going to be raining gold bars through this whole episode. I already know it. So get out a pen and paper. Get ready for a huge morning dose of strategy, advice, motivation, inspiration, all the things, because it's coming right now. So without further ado, please welcome Ericka to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning from Mexico. How are you doing?
I love it. Welcome. And you're not living there. You're on vacation.
I'm on vacation.
Thank you for taking some time out with us to hang out for the show today.
For sure.
And hop on. So, Ericka, you are not new to the online space. YouTube, you've had a YouTube channel 9 years, 7 years? Where are we at with that?
About 8-9 years at this point.
Right there.
It's been kind of documenting my journey, so it's been fun.
We've had some time online and in the space, and I'm assuming already, because I've been in the space longer. You've seen the highs, the lows, the left, the right, and everything in between.
For sure.
So let's just start initially. What brought you online all the way back?
So crazy story, but I always tell it. I was supposed to get married. I called off a wedding 3 weeks to go, sold the dress, sold all my stuff, and I flipped a coin. I was going to go to Nashville, Tennessee, or I was going to go to Austin, Texas, because I knew people in both. And so we packed it up and drove on away. But I'm a military kid. I lived in Alaska, lived in Germany, lived in Europe. So I was used to being like, you can start over. Like, this isn't the end.
Right.
This is not, you can pivot. You can leave.
You've done it all. You've already had that life where you moved around and you didn't have a fear of it, so to speak.
It's more like an excitement, like, oh my God, new people. I'm going to spend the next 2 years kind of going out, finding food restaurants and gyms and churches and all that good stuff. It's kind of like it's not fear. It's like something in you awakens, right? The best way to explain it, there's a movie called Dune, D-U-N-E. And I love the classic versions.
That's the nerd in me.
1984. Do you like the 1984 version? That's the best version. Okay. And the dude is yelling. His dad's like, listen, he's like, why are we going to leave, Dad? We're perfect right here. He's like, when you don't challenge yourself or move away, something inside you sleeps. So in the movie, just to make it short for you guys, he goes, Father, the sleeper has awakened, and that's so true. Like, every time I've moved, whether I moved to Alabama with the Red Cross, I moved to Maryland, I did a lot of little jobs and stints. I would find new people, new careers I never heard of, new opportunities. And so I've never had a moment where like, oh man, I hate moving because I done got comfortable. No, I usually move and it gets better each time.
Right. Wow. I love that. It's talk about embracing, like, new can be a beautiful thing. Change can be a beautiful thing, when so many of us think change equals bad.
Yeah. Change equals forced change, or I don't like it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I actually was talking with my daughter about it last night, because, she's in her first year of college. There's a lot of new things going on. And it was like, she was having a little frustration, and I go, you got to remember, change is not mean bad. Mm-hmm. You got to embrace it and go, wow, what a beautiful thing of having all this newness.
New environment, new people, new opportunity to be different wherever you want to be.
Like, it's like a full chance to push the reset button. Mm-hmm. If you want. You want to be a totally different, new version of yourself.
You want to dye your hair, wear new clothes, do it. Right? Don't scare your mom, but do it definitely. Like, just let her know before you come for the holidays.
And it can happen at any time, at any age, no matter what. and you realized, with an upcoming marriage, you needed a change.
It's like, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. Nah. And at the end of the day, it's like I was doing YouTube to motivate myself. Like I was reading a lot of motivational books. I was reading like, new kind of like growth. And so people were like, man, your original like first couple years were super motivational. And I'm like, I was motivating myself. Like I was sharing it,
Right.
motivating myself. Right. I was in a new city, new place. And like I was doing the videos and I loved communicating with people. Like I consider myself a super connector kind of after I read a couple books, but and it would just be like I'd be telling these stories of like North Carolina and military and travel. They're like, I never heard of that, and so I enjoyed YouTube in that aspect at that season.
Wow. So how from there did you land on Legendary and find our education?
So I've been doing a ton of affiliate marketing over the years, but there's like a pivot season where there's a transition happening, right? Like I
Mhm.
felt it coming the past year and a half. The pandemic kind of stirred a lot of people, and I had I kind of rode a high horse. I bought a lot of semi trucks and equipment and things, and then all of a sudden my business took a pivot. Right? I had to
Mhm.
liquidate some stuff, I had to get rid of stuff, and I was like, again, this isn't a moment to be afraid. This is a moment for opportunity and change. We can do new things now. So we got rid of a lot of stuff. Got rid of my office. I had to let go of some of my staff, and everybody be like, "Oh man, are you sad or depressed?" I'm like, "No, no. This is a great opportunity for something new." And so over the past year, I've been looking around for different stuff, and then someone popped in my feed, and I'll definitely give her credits. I think it was Chelsea and maybe Sean had popped in my feed, and I was like, that looks similar. Huh. And then I went and I said, well, let me click on it. Let me see what it's about. I click on it. I don't do anything that first day. I come back. I think I got an email from her. Or I clicked on it again. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Right? Sounds great. Let me see. And that's how I
Mhm.
popped in on Legendary.
Ah, I got it. The mindset piece right now, just in that alone of embracing new and loving new. And even though you've been in the online space, it's so important to recognize and go, I can learn something new today
Something
from
new.
somewhere.
And do something different, right? Like even
Yeah.
when I was talking to my business coach, I was just like, oh yeah, I've been doing this online. He's like, but wait, see if you want to do it this way. See it, just give it a chance and do it this way. And a lot of times what stunts our growth is we want to do it exactly the way we've been doing it. And we want to go into new things exactly the same way. And that's not how that works. New requires new activities, new thought processes, new everything. Right. And so I
Mhm.
was like,
Mhm.
you know what? I got to give it a shot. Like I really would give it anything else. Go fully
Right.
new into it. Like listen, read, be in the videos, be in the calls, like really listen because it really is a mindset shift.
You just nailed something right on the head that so many of our students go through is they're like, okay, I did the new thing. I did the
Mhm.
challenge, or I decided to go ahead and get blueprints, and that was my new. And
Mhm.
then they want it all to be the exact same way afterwards,
No
right?
change of schedule, no change of
No
phone,
change of
no change of anything.
schedule. I don't want to, I already did my new for this year. I don't want to do
Mhm.
anything else new. Or, you know what? They finally decided to start creating content.
Mhm.
But this is the video I'm going to make, and I'm going to make the same format, the same look, the same everything, and I'm going to do it 3 times a day for the next 6 months, and I'm going to say it's not working for me. But
Mhm.
they were unwilling to even try something new within those little pieces of this business, of what
Mhm.
they're learning, right? And it's just, wow, it's beautiful to really it's such an aha moment to be like, you got to be willing to be new every day, even within the bigger
Yep.
picture that you're doing.
Mhm. Because you'll walk into a new program, a new like I have a personal trainer and it was so funny because we've had him for like the past 2 years and he's like, "Look at you. You're acting brand new today." And I was like, "You know what? I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain about any exercises you picked today. I'm not going to complain about any amount of jogging, any amount of lifting. We're just going to do it." And he just laughed. He's like, "Where's this girl been?" But that's the problem. We want to like, nope. I don't want to do that. I don't want to lift weights. I don't want to
Mhm.
walk too much. I don't want to change my diet. Like I did a big thing where I started like I order my salmon direct from Alaska, right? And I got chickens
Mhm.
from the farmers market. So I'm doing all this whole,
Mhm.
holistic food cooking. And people are
Right.
like, aren't you bored of salmon? Aren't you bored of chicken? I'm like, no. This is new. I find new recipes every day online. Like I find
Right.
something new. And that's the problem. We want new results with the same techniques, same tactics, same behavior. And that just doesn't work.
So what's your advice for someone that is having this aha moment right now going, crap, I only allowed myself one new thing and then I'm staying stuck in my old rut with everything that I'm applying to my new thing. What's your advice for them to really embrace the new each day?
Man, you gotta like, you know how they say motivation is like a daily thing, just like taking
Mhm,
a bath, putting on deodorant, all that good stuff, right? It's every day.
mhm,
You gotta do it every day. I would strongly suggest you immerse yourself like an hour a day. Like people are busy. I get it. Moms are busy. Dads are busy. People are like have jobs, but nine times out
mhm,
of 10, just a little 30-minute video, just maybe a little bit of wake up legendary, maybe some of the training, and you just put a little bit on every day. And eventually this becomes your new normal. Right? You look up
mhm,
3 weeks from now, you've watched hours of content, you've met
mhm,
multiple people on these videos who are just like you and they're doing it, and
mhm.
now it's not this foreign ideal that you tell your friends and family, and they go, "Oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?" You know? You just gotta immerse yourself into the environment, and that's the best way to say it, like, immerse yourself with the
Mhm.
people, immerse yourself in the environment, get in the Facebook group, talk to other people in there because you complaining about, "Man, my Instagram's not getting traction." Your cousin or your grandma's like, maybe I don't know anything about that." Like, they don't know
Right?
what to tell you or assist you
Their
through.
advice is going to be, well, quit.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not the advice you need. That's not helpful.
Here's the crazy thing. I've been in business for now, I think 10 years.
Mhm.
And well, I would say 8 good years. There was years where I was working different jobs in between. And to this day, if I tell my mom tomorrow, I think about getting a job. She's like, "Oh, good. Oh, yeah." Like and I've made a ton of money online. I made a ton of money, bought cars, traveled the world, took her and my whole family on vacations, booked beach houses. But it's something about, you're doing a new thing. And sometimes your friends and family can't hear, they like, that's too new for me, right? That's too different.
I relate to that personally in so many ways. I can't even tell you.
Mhm. And they can't,
Yep.
they just, it's so that's why you have to immerse yourself around new people and new
Mhm.
environments because I meet a lot of people at conferences and people are like, "Man, how'd you find this conference?" And I'm like, first of all, you have to be looking. That's the number one thing is you have to be looking for the new in order to go pursue and go to concerts or go to masterminds. And so that's
Right.
that's the thing. I always tell people like, you're still trying to convince 5 years in your cousin that this is a good ideal. Don't do
It's
it. Just go on
wild.
about your day. Just go about
Yeah.
your day.
What a waste of energy
Oh
because
man,
they don't
energy sucks.
want to know either. They don't want to have
Yeah.
a mindset shift. They're
No.
good with where they're at. So you just leave them be.
Well, the more you change too, it makes people go, "Well, dang, do I need to change? That's
Hmm.
making me uncomfortable. Why is she changing?" Like I told some friends I got rid of some clothes and I'm picking some new clothes. They're like, "Why'd you do that?" And I'm like, "I just want some different, like I want to dress differently. I want to go into a new season of life with some different clothes." And you could just see people struggle to think like, why would a person want to change? So change is very hard. I
Yeah.
want people to understand if nothing else they get from this video, pivoting and changing is hard. I think like I bought a domain name called Pivot is a Mofo or something like that, And I just tell people like it's gonna be hard, but you choose your hard. You get to decorate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Definitely. I think in the most morbid sense of it too is embrace the death of your old version
Yeah.
and come in like I got a whole new me I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
amazing. It's going to be awesome. And if you're not on board, that's fine. You stay over there.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And
I mean,
I'm just going to keep going.
it's a transition season. Like,
Hmm.
like everything else, like any football team. Like we watch enough sports in America. We do enough stuff that we know, oh man, they got a new coach, they got a new quarterback. It's going to take some time. We'll give that quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys 7 years to get a
Right.
transition, but we won't give ourselves 6 months. That's insane.
6 months. Some of us won't give ourselves 3 weeks.
There you go. That too. They'll be like, oh
Yeah.
man, I tried that for 30 days, Erica. It didn't work. That's
Yeah.
the line I hear all the time. I tried that before, didn't work. And you're
Yep.
like, did you try it like this? Did you apply all these different techniques?
Right.
No, they
Right.
didn't.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's deciding a career in some ways.
Mhm.
Like, I'm going to go all in.
Mhm.
I want to learn these skills. I want to make a real shift in my life. And it's scary. So we try to hold on
Yeah.
to little pieces from before just in
Mhm.
case. but sometimes you gotta burn the boats and go a little bit. I'm not saying everybody should go like start the challenge and quit their job. So let me preface that. You want to still be,
Please don't.
pay your bills and all of that. But
Baby
at
steps,
some
baby
point,
steps.
baby steps. Yeah. Allow some moments each day where you do something new
Hmm. Hmm.
to start with. Just
For
you.
sure. And also, and sometimes we talk about new as in like, oh, that's so scary. I also talk about just dreaming, right? Like let's just take out a
Mhm.
sheet of paper. Where do we want to go next year? Where do we see ourselves? How many music concerts do we want to go to? How many massages do we want next year? How many, facials, whatever it is, right? And you can actually, that new isn't scary now. It's dreaming. You're dream casting.
Mhm.
What I want to do for next year. And that's how you
Yeah.
should look at it, I think.
It was my third week
Hmm.
that I was with Legendary
Hmm.
years ago. Our COO, who is still our CO, said something I'll never forget, and it goes along. She says, what we do here is we allow people the opportunity to dream again when they haven't in years."
Yeah.
And I was
There you
like,
go.
"Oh, that's so true."
Hmm.
Like, that's really what we do here, and what a beautiful place to be a part of that. Whether you work for Legendary, whether you're an advisor, whether you're an affiliate, whether you're a
Hmm.
student, that you're reaching out to your own audience in whatever niche, whether it's in the pet niche or relationships or whatever you're into, you're allowing a space where someone gets to dream again
Yep.
and
They
see
get to
their
write a new story.
desires again, which
Hmm.
is cool.
Yeah, I
Makes
like
me
that. That's a good one. Probably frame that somewhere at the office.
All right. So you have obviously created a ton of content.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let's give some strategies, some
Yep.
tips. What do you give? What do you tell? What do you teach the new person? Like, I got to start making a video. I've never created a TikTok before. I don't know what a reel is, but I'm figuring it out. What do I start with in my first week, my first month? What's your advice for them?
So my biggest thing is like write down your dream avatar. Write down the dream person you're talking to and what's their pain point, right? The biggest
Yeah.
thing people say is I'm busy. I don't know if I can fit this in my schedule. What's my next step, right? Just tell me what to do, right? Make it easy for me. And so whatever you're talking to people or you're creating content, it's not about you. It's not like, hey, I'm this person and I've done all these things and I've traveled. Like they didn't want to hear that. I want to
Right.
solve your problem. What is your problem? So if your ideal person is a guy who just wants to have more weekends with his kids, then now you have to craft a story like, hey man, I know you're busy. I know you're at work checking your phone right now, but let's get you more time with your kids. And here's how, right? Hop in the
Right.
caption below, right? It's one of those things where you're like, what's their pain point? What's going on with them? Are they frustrated? Are they sad? Do they go to work and don't feel appreciated? Create your own thing, right? I'm a big believer that people are builders. Like we are more happy when we tinker on things, right? You see people tinkering in their garages and women decorating their
Mhm.
home in different decor every season. And so you really want to
Mhm.
get to people's like desire to build something for themselves. Want to build
Right.
something your boss can't tell you no on? Want to do something in your weekend that changes your life? That's kind of where you should lead your content, and that's where you should it's always about solving someone else's problem. It's never about you.
Oh, so true. It's about serving. And
Hmm.
guys, I hope you wrote that all down because she threw out a ton of hooks that you can use right there at the beginning.
I'm telling you, somebody's on
Yeah.
their phone scrolling at work. Like, I know you're scrolling at work right now, but
Mhm.
hop in my DMs and see this. Whatever. You can go different
Yeah,
ways with
and have
this.
fun with it,
Hmm.
right? There's got to be joy around it.
Yeah.
I've seen some content creators out there, and they've built their whole accounts about around negativity, putting other
Right.
people down,
Hmm.
that program down, this person down, and it's just like, who wants to live there for a while? Like, you're not like, create a place of joy.
And it doesn't
Because
solve their problem. It just tells you, oh, they're bad. They're bad, right?
right,
And my biggest thing I tell people is like, if you consistently make negative content, what you will attract is a sea of negative people. And
hmm,
anytime you want to leave that conversation, you want to pivot to say something different, they don't like that. They don't like that whatsoever. So it's better to build an audience of constructive we can do it kind of folks. We're thinking of ways to do it. We're analyzing ways to do it. And that's kind of been my whole career of like interviewing people. It's like, how can we do it? Right? How can we solve that problem? How can we get more money? How can we have a better life? How can we invest the difference? How can we make more money and invest the difference? That's always been like a repetitive thing I say on my channel because my thing is when I was growing up, all I knew of was like police officers and military. That was my family. Mostly cops, mostly police officers, mostly military.
A lot
And
of
we had
law in there, a
farms.
lot of rules.
Like, you know what I mean? And so when you start asking about other careers or engineers or anything, they're like, huh? What? And so I was big on interviewing people that had all these different type of careers on my channel because I didn't want some kid to grow up and say, I didn't get exposed to enough. I didn't see enough. I didn't know I had other choices. So that's a big thing for me. It's like giving people opportunity to see other choices.
Wow. This is a lot this morning, guys. I'm telling you. I knew Ericka was going to throw out some gold, and she absolutely is every time. Which I love it. I love it. So the YouTube channel, it's been a while. Share with us some of the highs and the lows and how did you keep pushing through when the views weren't there, and how did you kind of level, keep yourself excited when the views were up and super high, moving through it as a career essentially.
So my biggest thing was I was working 2 jobs. I was delivering pizza at night. I was a property manager during the day, and someone came in the office and they did the painting at our building. I was like, you know what? I could do that. All right, I could totally do that. And so I started a painting company with my friend, and it was great. I kept doing YouTube and I kept showing everybody. But 2 weeks before we started that painting company, I went on and did an interview on a show. And when I did the interview on the show, I said, hey, if you want to book a call with me, just hit the link, hit the PayPal link below. That's fine, and we'll set it up. I didn't think anybody was going to call me or book anything or send any money. I had over 600 people click the link and send like $25. It was like a small, like $25 to talk to me for 30 minutes on the phone, which was insane.
Did you have a set amount, or were you the ones like, hey, pick your donation amount to have?
No, I said like 25. I said, if you send me $25 with the email, I'll know to book a call with you. And I was like, what are you thinking? So we had 600 people.
Oh my gosh.
And it took me, I think, almost 4 months to get through the whole list.
Fulfill it now.
And I was like, this is crazy. But it also had that light bulb moment of like, internet's real. The internet's real. These people that are watching you are real. These people that are calling you are real. If 10 people came up and shook our hand at one time in the day, we were like, man, that's a lot. But if 10 people watch your video, like nobody watches my video, that's insulting to the people who sat there and watched your video. They just sat there and spent their time with you. So you have to really think of, oh, my views are low. No, I appreciate my folks. And so one of the ways I appreciate people on my channel, whether their views are high or low, is I would do an annual boat party in Austin, Texas. And it'd be hot as all get out in like August. It's like dog days of summer in Texas. But I'm like, look, you come, I'm going to have you at a winery. We're going to eat great food, and we're going to go be on a boat so that the wind is blowing in our hair. And we forget that it's like 100 degrees out here. And so I would do that. And like every year we'd have 50 to 80 people show up. And so if you were someone who were like, oh, I have a small YouTube channel, it doesn't do that much, and I just don't, you're disrespecting the people who are now spending their money flying to you, eating dinner with you, having this great adventure every summer. Like I've got so many pictures of us dancing on boats and having a great time. And it's important to like recognize that, and this is a stat, you guys get your pen and paper ready. I'm telling you this, 90% of all YouTube videos get less than 1,000 views. So if your video gets over, let's say it gets 1,001, you are now in the top 10% of YouTube. Just that alone. So when people say, Ericka, nobody watched my video, you got 3,000 views, dude. You're in the top 10% of YouTube.
Right.
You're doing good. Now you're not top 1%. You're not like millions of views, but 90% of all videos get less than 1,000 views. So if you get over 1,000 views, like absolutely thank your audience. Be super appreciative and keep making content.
Yeah. I mean, what a perspective. Because say you're stuck in that 200 view range, the 100 view range, but you're so appreciative. You want to serve those 100 people, those 200 people. You invite them to a boat party. Can you imagine 200 people showing up going, I am one of your raving freaking fans. I love you. I'm excited. I came out to Texas and I'm going to party on a boat with you.
Yep.
What an amazing difference that you've made in that one person's life, those 80 people, those 100 people. But then when we move online and we shift, our mindset suddenly goes, oh, only 100 people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If it's
It's
in
crazy.
person, you're like, oh my gosh, 100 people came to my party.
Hmm. And the first year, this lady was like, "Hey, you interviewed this guy talking about stocks, and I bought stocks for my grandchildren. You changed my grandchildren's life." And I'm just a puddle. I was like,
Oh.
I'm just crying because I'm like, you're doing these videos, and sometimes you're like, "Is this changing anybody's life? Is this affecting anybody?" And
Mhm.
then they come out in person, and they're like, "Totally, yeah, totally changed our life." And I'm like, "Awesome." So I want people to always remember, like, um, don't let the views like stop you. The goal is to say, hey, DM me, contact me, join my Facebook group, whatever it is you're trying to aim towards. Here, click this link, let's talk further. It's always a call to action because that person's probably sitting on the sidelines like, I don't know what to do, I'm uncertain.
Yeah.
And if you're uncertain on what to tell them, then they get stuck. So your goal is to be like, hey, this is the next step. I know you've been watching my videos. I know you've been thinking about it. I know you're struggling on the fence. Hey, go do this. Click this link. Go down here. DM me. Whatever the call to action is.
Yeah, never be afraid of the ask. We
Hmm.
have to give them instructions.
For
We have
sure.
to give our viewers, like, this is the next step.
Hmm.
They want that. I was once told, it was at a mastermind actually, um, back back in the day, a mastermind I attended, and that sometimes when you don't ask, people assume you don't like them. That's why you didn't
Oh.
ask them. That's why
Mm.
you didn't ask for the sale. That's why you didn't ask for them to DM. That's why you didn't ask for them to follow you because you don't, they assume, oh, that person doesn't like me. They don't want me in their
Mm.
world. When a lot of times we ask because we're nervous, we're fearful of the
Hmm.
no, right? But it actually, think about it the other way, is they sometimes get offended when they don't have the ask. They
All right.
actually feel more wanted and more included when you ask them.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's such an interesting different spin to think about. It's actually going back to service. You're serving them more and letting them know, I want you a part of my community. I
For
want
sure.
you to be here and be engaged. I want to continue to give you value. The best way
Hmm.
I can do that is for you to follow and like my page.
For sure. It's like saying, I have a bunch of water over here and we're outside in Arizona and it's 100 degrees. I'm so thirsty. I'm like, and I don't ask you, do you want anything? I don't ask you, do you want some of this water I have? Would you like some of this water? Like, and I don't ask you. That's what I want people to compare it to in their mind is like, you're really helping people and changing their life. And part of the
Yeah.
reason I do the events in person is I would say, if you guys are feeling, what would I call it? I called it like a season of aloneness because you're changing, you're
Uh-huh.
moving here, but you haven't already got here, right? Like you're starting to not be in common with your friends a little bit. Life's changing, and and
Mhm.
and you see where you want to go, but you're not already there yet. I would tell them, hey, come out here to the boat party and join everybody else who's also in that season.
Yeah.
And it was like people really love that because they're like, that's awesome because I am changing. I am getting new information. I am developing to a different person, and always talking to my friends and family who may not want to understand that or talk about that.
Mhm.
It creates great communities. I mean, there's a reason we have thousands of Facebook pages on Facebook. People
Right.
are looking to grow and change and move into different categories. So,
Yeah, and I think, I mean, right there, that's what I love about our live events with our masterminds. It's the same thing. And
mhm.
I've never heard anyone put it so eloquently as you did. And that's
Oh,
really what
thanks.
it is. There is a season of loneliness, but when you get into a room with physical closeness with
Mhm.
others going through the exact same thing,
Yep.
there's something like, all right, I can do this. It's that new, like, kick in the pants of I am actually not alone in this process
Yep.
and I can do this and my person sitting next to me can, and I now have all these people that I can ask questions and get quality answers from and be supportive and be uplifted from instead of, you know, kind of feeling stuck at home. If you need
Yep.
more than just that Facebook group, which gives you a lot, and there's tons of those communities, and that's what'll keep you going through those events.
Mhm.
I love that you do live events. I think that really helps solidify your audience and your raving fans even more. Do you find that?
Yeah, and I love picking different cities because I can look at the metrics and see, okay, well, we get a lot of people from this place and that place. Well, let's do it, and then we'll have an event, and I'm like, hey, I booked a house. Let's go. How many people? And then we'll have 50 sales out of nowhere, and I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, right? And so, um, taking photos, letting people do testimonials, all that stuff is great. But really, you'll hear the afterwards, like, Ericka, that was so great. I see people in the comment section, and now I put a name to a face, and it makes them
Mhm.
not feel so alone. And so I think that's just the most important part of it. It's like online is beautiful, but offline is amazing, right? Because it's that
Right.
in-person connection.
Yeah.
Especially after the pandemic, I think more people are like, I'm ready to get back out there. Let me go somewhere.
Want to see some people.
I
But
need to
it's
see
also
people.
nice for the majority of your year to be able to be like, I'm working from home, from my
Hmm.
couch,
Hmm.
from my backyard,
Yes. Yeah.
on my laptop, wherever I need to be. And then, go to a 3-day event, get your fill of in person
For sure.
networking and information and support, and then be able to come back and hop on a interview from Mexico, wherever you need to
Hey,
be,
that's right.
right?
I took a group to Panama with me. I was like, you guys, I'm going to Panama. I'm going to go look at real estate property. If you want to come, fill out the form. And like 30 people came with me. And it was so amazing because then I wasn't in Panama alone. I had all
Did
these
you charge
people.
for it?
Oh, of course, I had to charge for
Of course. So
it
it's covered
because
your
I had to
trip
charge
too,
for it.
guys. Let's talk a business here. Okay.
We had to charge for it because it's
Great.
a qualifier. It's a qualifier. It's like, how
Mhm.
serious are you about it? Now, yes,
Right.
you're willing to book a plane ticket, right? But you can book that with points. But if you're willing to spend some money and book a plane ticket and come to another country, hey, I'm all for you, right?
Mhm.
And it was a wonderful experience. I mean, just absolutely wonderful. Panama City, Panama was amazing. And, the biggest thing I tell people is there are probably 1,000 people just like you out there in the world. And they're looking to connect, but they're in Minnesota, they're in California, they're in North
Mhm.
Carolina, they're in Virginia. Maybe not in the same city. I like Austin because we have a lot of free thinkers and people that work in so many different remote jobs. But it's the, hey, tell me what you're doing, that people I like about the city. And so that's why I've kind of stayed there for so long.
You feel like it's more open there
More
too.
open, like, hey, like I'll talk to someone, I'm like, I'll be sitting at the bar for some tacos and lunch, and they'll be like, yeah, I'm on my lunch break. And I'm like, oh, okay, where you work? He's like, oh, I'm at home. I'm just here to get the tacos and get out of the house. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's like every day, you bump into somebody. And so I like that about Austin. So
Yeah. Very cool. I love it. So, what is your advice for someone brand new to the online space and they feel the itch of wanting
mhm.
something different in their life, but man, they're scared to death. They're
you
just
know, I
paralyzed in
yeah.
inaction. How about that?
So the best cure for anxiety is action. And
Mm.
I remember a doctor telling me that. And again, that's not medical advice here. That's not medical advice. But
No
he was just
medical
like,
advice.
not medical advice. Do not sue me. He was just like, the best cure for anxiety is action. People
Mhm.
get paralyzed in anxiety because they're like, I don't know if I should go left or right, or I don't know. And the best thing I tell people is break it down. Let's do it like this. Ericka, I want to change this year. I want to be really active on social media. And then I go, well, what if you do it one time a week? Oh man, Ericka, the one time a week. Cause see, we get all hyped up. We're motivated. We're going to do a bunch of content. And I'm like, no. What if you just do it one time a week?
Mhm.
What if you do it when you're not even feeling motivated? Now you got 52 times a year that you show up online. And you're
Mhm.
like, okay, that's good, Eric. I can do that, right? 52
Mhm.
times a year. Now let's say you do it twice a week. That's
Mhm.
104 times you showed up online this year, right?
Right.
And in the sea of all the people you see, if you can train people to be consistent, that hey, I'm going to see Erica twice a week. I know on Tuesday and Thursday she's going to be online. That
Mhm.
gives them something to look forward to. And I think people sometimes like, oh my God, Erica, I've got to post like 3 things a day. I've got to send out emails. I got to do all stuff. And I go, just relax, take a deep breath. One time a
Right.
week. Can you guarantee yourself one time a week you'll post and one time a week you'll email? And the way
Mhm.
we have so much automation now, a lot of this stuff can be batched and pre-done, but I strongly suggest you build your muscle by making yourself do it once a week because new things happen, new content
Mhm.
ideals, new music. And again, another way to do this too is like this is the one I love. 18 questions. If you're, let's say
Mhm.
you're a nurse, what are the same 18 questions you get all the time? You probably could get a piece of paper out and write it down right now. Da, 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 da.
Yep.
Make videos that just answer those questions one at a time. That's it,
Right.
right? Oh,
Well,
Erica,
and
what
then
does
you
it say
can
for
make
nurse?
it in all these different formats. You can
There you
answer the
go.
first question with
Mm-hmm.
just text on screen,
Mm-hmm.
and then make another video where you're answering that question as
Yep.
like just a talking head, and then one with
Mm-hmm.
B-roll and one with a voiceover. There's so many different
Yep.
variations that you can do by answering that one question,
Yep. Day in the life. What's the day of life of nurse? You got a camera
right?
sitting over there on your desk and you're walking around, and we see you walking around. You can go unlimited with this. That's why when I say one time a week, don't think, oh my God, Erica, that's just not enough. No, you'll come up with more creative ways to make that one time a week really count, and
Mhm.
make it impactful. So that, and then like the 18 questions, we could go right now. Okay, well, I have 18 questions about Legendary. Cool. What are the questions people are gonna have? Can I do this at home? Can I do this if I have kids? Am I too old to do it? How much do I get paid? Or
Do I have to
what's
be
this?
tech savvy?
Yeah.
Right?
Do I have to know how to make things on Instagram? Do I have to be on TikTok? Do I have to be on YouTube?
Do I
Like,
have to show my face?
there you go. Can I do it without showing my face? Yeah, there are plenty of channels where people have not shown their face. There's plenty of
Right.
affiliate marketers that don't show their face and they go on about their life.
Mhm.
Um, the 18 questions is whatever you want to make it, right?
Right.
How do busy moms do this, right? Now they got 18 questions for busy moms. How can dads do this? 18 questions for dads, right? How can people transitioning from work do this? You can go all over the board with this.
Yeah. And that's where it starts. And I love that. Yeah. Can you do 1 day a week? What can you commit to? Whether it's 1 day a week
Mhm,
or two a day.
mhm.
Find where you're not overwhelmed to where you quit.
That part. Yes.
It just doesn't matter the size of the step
Mhm.
as long as there is a step. And if the step is too big, it's too much, it's too overwhelming to where you're like, oh, I can't do this, and you stop taking action, that's when you go find, maybe it's twice a week, like you said, maybe it's once a week, but find what you can do. And then you may find as you gain experience, as you
Mhm.
gain confidence, you can up that to 2 times a week in a couple months. Just find that level of just barely out of your comfort zone, maybe.
Yeah.
Like push a little bit out of your comfort zone. Don't stay like in the warm jacuzzi. I like to say, jump in the pool a little bit. Get the cold water
Yeah.
on your stomach, feel the little but
Feel the chills.
feel the
Just dunk.
chills.
Just dunk. And you'll build the muscle of it, the habit of it,
Yeah,
right? And then when you don't do it that week, you're like, you know what I didn't do this week? I did not do a video. And then you hop on and you do a video. I mean, you get
right.
into the groove of it. That's really what people have to kind of start trying to do. And you know, um, people would love to have perfect content, but I don't know if it's Kayla or somebody has a video of them brushing their teeth and it went viral or something at like a million views. I'm like, y'all stop overthinking it. Just just put it out there. Put it out there, okay? You can always take it down.
Misspelled words, sometimes on purpose, just because
For
people like
sure.
to do the spelling police in the comments and it boosts
Oh,
your
yeah.
engagement, but it doesn't, I think like imperfection is actually what wins right now.
Mhm.
Real. The
Well, I was gonna say, sorry. Oh, even the quiet, right? So I made a second Instagram channel and I don't say any words. I just
Mhm,
show clips of life, right? And somebody was
mhm.
like, "Why don't you say any words on there?" And I'm like, "Because in a sea of noise, someone being quiet and you have to stop what you're doing and actually read the caption is going to pull in people because people are kind of yearning for a turn. Like, man, the world's really noisy. How can I just get the information and not have to hear all the noise? And there's something to that. People don't really understand that there's people at work, they're not supposed to be looking at their phone and they're like, oh, perfect, no words, no
Right?
talking.
Uh-huh.
Just read
Or they're
this.
laying in bed and their partner's
There you go.
sleeping, they gotta keep it quiet, or they're at the
Like,
doctor's office in a waiting room, there's moments
hmm.
most of the day people actually don't listen with sound.
Yeah, that part.
So, something to also mix in. There's another content piece to mix in and test and see how your audience responds to it,
For sure.
which is cool.
Also, being yourself, it helps a lot. So usually I don't have it on today, but usually I have like the past year I've been wearing braids and a cowboy hat, and people will be
Oh,
like, "Er," double take, right? And you're like, yeah, I like snowboarding. I like, I'm trying to get my private pilot license. Sharing a little bit of like what you enjoy makes you a
Mhm.
little human, because people are just like, who's this person? Why are they telling me about this? What do they want? And just like I love them, people share a little bit of them like chasing their kids around or they're going to do some trip at the grocery store. It's just a part of their life, just
Mhm.
a little bit.
Right?
And I think
Yeah.
it's enjoyable.
Oh, for sure. Or, like the dog's being naughty, doing something crazy, chewing something up. And, it's just like a little, a little
People
snippet
cleaning
of
their
like,
house,
oh, I've
anything.
been
People love
there.
stuff,
I got to send this to my friend because they've been there too.
for sure.
Right? Oh, what an amazing conversation. I love this. We got to give a few more tidbits
Okay.
because YouTube is a lot of long form
Yes.
content.
Hmm.
So have you shifted into adding in shorts? Are you doing more shorts of short form video on YouTube, or are you still doing long form and it's what's there to stay? What have you seen in your experience because you've been on the platform for so long?
So I do a combination of long form and short form now. So we'll record a video, maybe it'll be an hour, and then we'll go throw it into some software called Opus AI, and then we'll let it chop it up into like 2 minute segments, right? The good
Right.
stuff. It'll
Yep.
it'll edit it. It'll do all the nice, cool AI stuff onto it, and then we'll
Hmm.
throw that on Instagram. We'll throw that on YouTube. We'll let it kind of have a mix because you don't know where people are drawn into.
Hmm.
Why do I keep doing the long content format? Because I hate when someone gives me a short answer and I'm like, but I need the rest of the answer. What's the
Right.
rest of the answer? Right. And also the thing about YouTube, what you guys have to remember as far as traction and content, right? Number one, of course, is Google. Number two is YouTube. When someone types in something on YouTube, they're searching for an answer. They may just stumble across you on Instagram. But when they come to you on YouTube, they're looking for an answer. They've typed this in multiple times. The algorithm is sending it their way. And here you are giving them a short 4 minute answer. Like, okay, bye. Go ahead. Enjoy that time. Yeah. Ask me questions. When I'm on live, I always say, ask questions in the comments. Put your question in the comments. I want to answer your question because that person came looking for it, right? They're watching you. And so
Right.
long form content still has a good place. Now,
Hmm.
I would recommend as you start out under 10 minutes, under
Yeah.
10 minutes, right? Like kind of chart out what you're going to say, keep it under 10 minutes. I've kind of built an audience that can withstand an hour. But even then,
Right.
I have drop offs. But I'll have sometimes I'm going 40 minutes and I've got 380 people still waiting. Like, yeah, keep going. And I'm like, all
Hmm.
right, you guys, it's been 40 minutes. I got to go. You know what I mean? So you want to kind of build an audience and something you can kind of continue to do. Again, that one time a week that you can build that muscle. If it's
Hmm.
10 minutes, it's 10 minutes. 10 minutes is longer than you think, right? Because you'll
Right.
you'll do something and you'll track your time. You're like, man, that was only 5 minutes. That was only 7 minutes. So don't be afraid to do stuff that's like 10 minutes.
Well, and it gives you content for short form videos to where
Hmm.
maybe you can do, chop it up like you said. Throw quick little clips out there, little tidbits, and now you're putting out additional content as well,
Hmm.
which is huge. And I love that you seeing what the questions are in your comments, and it could give you ideas for your next pieces of content too.
Books. It
After.
gives you ideas for events. It gives you ideas for just about anything.
Mhm.
We had one guy. He's like, I love your like witty quips. I made a T-shirt company off of it, and I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. And he sent me a bunch of T-shirts that had like little quotes on them, and I'm like, if you like it, I love it, right? And
Right.
so it's one of those things where you never know where you're giving somebody inspiration, or they'll give you inspiration.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
one of those things.
Very cool. Well, you have to come back, please, Ericka. I
For
know
sure,
Dave
for
would
sure.
love to talk to you. And man, we got to get you to a mastermind at some point too, I think.
It's so crazy. I just had a commission the other day and I was just like, whoa, I'm not even in town. I'm selling, right? And so I was like, I got to do a little video while I'm in the pool here. But I think people should try new things,
Mhm.
pivot, try new things. It'll be like a great change for your life. So that's what I like about it.
Oh, I love it. All right. Well, before I take you off camera,
Mhm.
we have two Instagram accounts. So I know one is silent. Which one is silent?
It's Ericka W, the affiliate.
Okay, that's the one I have
Just the
on. That's what
silent
I thought.
for
And then
sure.
we also have this one, Erica's Classy
Classy
Climb.
climb. Yeah. I was working a bunch of jobs and I was doing stuff, but I would always show up to these dance two-stepping country music places and I'd be dressed really nice. And they'd be
Mm.
like, girl, didn't you just leave work? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm here. And they're like, that girl's always classy climbing. And I laughed so hard and I was like, that's the name of my channel. Ericka's Classy
I
Climb.
love it.
That's
I
it.
love it.
I'll
And
wear it. I'll
it's
use it.
also that's why it's in your YouTube title too,
Yep.
which I love. There you go. Very cool. I love it. Well, thank you for coming on today. And you definitely need to come back. And I know
For sure,
Dave would
for sure.
love to chat with you. So we'll be in touch for sure to have you back in a few months.
Well, enjoy your afternoon. Listen, I know you're not in Mexico, but I'll drink a margarita for you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right, everyone, please go give Ericka a follow on Instagram. We have Ericka's Classy Climb, and Ericka is with a K. Ericka is how you spell Ericka. So Ericka's with an S, Classy Climb on Instagram. She also has on Instagram Ericka W the Affiliate. Go follow her there. No spaces, no hyphens. And then you can also subscribe to Ericka's YouTube channel at Ericka Williams Classy Climb Smartphone Money. Go give her a search, give her some follows, let her know you saw her on Wake Up Legendary. And if you missed any of today's episode, I say this a lot, this one needed a notebook, a pen, get out your laptop, whatever you need to do, go back, rewatch, take notes. There is so much about creating quality content and connecting with your audience. And there's a lot of mindset nuggets in there too. So we will be back on Monday with another episode. And as always, stay legendary. Peace.